All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a special guest. Her name is Sibu Mabena, co-founder, actually founder of Duma Collective. How are you, Sibu?
I'm alive. How are you?
I'm great, man. Before we start, how many Mabena jokes do you get a day?
Oh my goodness, I'm the Mabena that doesn't disappoint, right? So I'm carrying the whole nation on my shoulders. So it's all right. I can take it. I take it. It's like, please.
So much pressure, eh?
It's okay. Bring them, Mabena. Bring it. It's fine. Because I just repel it, yo.
Nice, man. And can you still bust a move? Are you still dancing?
I mean, I can bust one or two moves, but I wouldn't be able to take on snare or bunte or like, I wouldn't do that. Please, but you know, we can still hold our own.
When did you stop dancing though, man? Because it seemed like you loved it.
I did, and what happened was Jay Kayembe, who was like someone I was working with in this dancing space. We're doing crazy dancing projects for Miller with Kendrick Lamar and like other really cool brands. He was just like, dude, you can't be on the floor and handling the business behind the scenes when you're in the boardroom and you're on stage and you're directing, and you're doing costumes, and you're talking to pattern ranking, and so he like kind of made me choose, and he said it's either you're on the floor or you're doing the business behind the dancing. So I had to choose the business, and it made sense because I think me sacrificing wanting to be in front of the camera or on stage helped kind of create a platform for all those who are on stage to be able to do so and get paid well, and just make the conditions for dancers a little bit better on these projects where people generally don't take dancers seriously. So that's why I stopped.
And was it a hard decision for you? Because it sounds to me like the dancing thing was more of a passion, you know, as opposed to the business side of things.
I mean, look, I found it very interesting how I started making money in the dancing world. When I was 16, I started coaching like the kids in the studio, and my dance teacher at the time was like, yo, are you fine with getting paid like 10 Rand per child per hour? I said, like, you don't even have to pay me, but cool. And at the end of the term, they gave me an envelope with like 4.5 thousand. I'm 16 years old. I made 4.5 from teaching kids how to dance. So already I think from that, like from early on, my mind started being conditioned to being the person behind the scenes and being the coach, being the enabler, and not necessarily being the one on the floor. So it wasn't really a hard decision, but I must say, I did have FOMO for when like Snare was running onto stage at the Joburg Stadium, you know, with Kuli Chana, and then like it's Golda in a tutu. She's doing a piece there with Stogie T and them. So there was that little bit of envy, but because I was so involved and behind the scenes, I still felt like I was part of it. So yeah.
Which kids were these that you were teaching? Was it the repertoires?
No, they were definitely not kids. Men. What are you talking about? Because you were all skins, you were all friends. No, man. Like the South African hip hop dance team. There's actually a South African dance team that competes overseas and wins. Like people just don't know about them. We only focus on the Olympic teams. But we were actually flying like the SA flag really high in Europe and in the Americas. So yeah, there's a South African dance team that exists.
All right, cool. So you're 16, you're teaching people how to dance, and then now you got to go to varsity, you go to University of Pretoria. Why do you choose to study political sciences and international relations?
It's such a very simple thing. So I was born into a family that lived the political life. So my dad is an MK. My mom went and studied a master's in sociology in Germany when she skipped the country because the police were chasing her, looking for my dad in 1976, all of that stuff, right? So it was just something that was always in my mind. My like ecosystem consisted of a lot of people in the political arena. And when I was doing my application, I had one for Rhodes, had one for UCT, had one for UP.
Yeah.
Rhodes, I was right to essay. I said, I'm doing that. Left. And then tax. I said, subject, humanities. Okay. I didn't get to the BA general. I got to be pol-sci and international relations. So, okay. I mean, if I got into an exam room and I didn't study for something, what would I be able to win? That's what I thought, right? I thought that's what politics is. Like, they talk about South African politics. So that's why I went into that. With UCT, I wanted to do political science, philosophy, and economics because it was a triple major. And I thought, yo, if like someone would ask me, I did a triple major, it just sounded great.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You got what's that other one? Something else.
Yeah.
Megan Good was doing a triple major. So I was like, yeah, triple major. So that's the reason I chose that. But when I got there and we were learning about different styles of like politics, just like the sociological element of it and all of like humanities around politics, that then was like, oh my God, I won't lie, I failed politics twice.
Wow.
I got out of school and tried.
Mabena.
Kick my ass. Yo. And I had to pay for it myself because I actually was on a bursary. At least I was smart enough to get a bursary. But now maintaining it was difficult because I also had this dancing thing going on the side. So, I mean, yeah, I have it. I have a degree. Yeah. And it's really great. And it taught me how to finish something. It taught me how to be responsible and accountable. And yeah, I learned what I learned, I guess.
And then
more critical than anything.
And then take me back to the first day you start thinking about what we know as Duma Collective now.
Ooh, damn. So, I was, where was I? It was 2014, and that's the year I graduated. I started university 2010, that was my first year. And I'd been working, working. I did the McDonald's fan dancer thing for FIFA, so I was dancing at every single game of the World Cup, which was like 12 games, so I was at 12 World Cup games. But before that, we had been rehearsing for 3 months with Shosha. So that kind of training, you're not getting paid to do it, mind you, because it's a volunteer program. But because of the dedication that you're putting to it, you kind of learn how to do the business of creative, because they taught us a lot of things in that program. So from that came a lot of opportunities to do freelancing work. And I realized that I need to be able to invoice like a professional. If I want to do work with an MTV, for example, they've got all these company documents that they're asking for. Here I am, just an individual walking who's able to do work. So I had to register a company, have a bank account, have company registration documents, tax clearance, all of these things. And that's why I registered in Mbuduma Communications. And how the name came was that I just learned Isthakazelo sub. So I was like, oh, it would be cool to have my surname at my Thakazelo.com, because like my mind works in a very strange way. Nothing makes sense, but it made sense. And then from Mbuduma, I started getting quite a bit of work. Like my first big project, I did a research project for Gauteng legislature for a documentary they were doing, and I got paid 90,000 rand.
Whoa! Whoa!
And they asked me, it was a 3-month project. They asked me if I wanted to get paid weekly or if I wanted lump sum. And I said, no, lump sum, because I'm staying at my father's house. I take his cafeteria. I don't need money, so it's fine. I'll get it in bulk so that I can use that as capital for whatever may come up. And then I did the multi-choice Disky challenge, did the cheerleaders for that. So I needed to pay dancers, pay studio time, get costumes made, buy pom-poms, all of that stuff. Then that paid me more money. And then I had to do a clip drift, like amplification thing for MTV. And that was, I think, 150K that I needed to pay up front for social media army, da-da-da-da. But I also had money from working at the Sands as a bartender. So I didn't like seeing an empty bank account. And Mbuduma grew that way through like network marketing. People started hearing that I make shit trend. So we were doing that, and then they asked, oh, can you do this? I said, I can do it. And I go ask the people who know how to do it. So that's how Mbuduma grew. But what I saw was that people couldn't brand Mbuduma. They weren't able to even say it. Like black people were Mbuduma, Sibu's company. And I was like, this ain't gonna work. Because if I want to be a brand like an Ogilvy or a VML or any of these other big companies or agencies that I want to compete with or work with, I've got to find a way to brand this company. So I said, okay, Mbuduma, how do I not steer too far from it? And that's how Duma Collective came out, because there was a billboard on the highway about Duma, something KZ, like a KZN advert, and I really liked it. I forgot it now, but that's why I went with Duma Collective, because the name just made sense to what already existed and didn't steer too far from how I came to the name Mbuduma.
And let's talk about life before Corona, because you were fucking killing shit, man. Like, you were killing it. I mean, you did so many campaigns. You did all of the fill-ups. You did Global Citizen, right?
We did Global Citizen. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. What are some other campaigns that you remember, like, that you're very fond of?
Oh my gosh, fond. I'm fond of all my babies because I believe in doing work that I can stand on top of a hill and scream and shout that I did that, because then that instills a little bit more passion, a little bit more pride in the inputs of the work, so that you can talk about it when it's really, like, when it's done really well. So I'll say, of the many,
Yeah.
the campaign for Heineken. Can I mention brands?
Yeah, you can.
So all the UEFA Champions.
Wait, hold on. The screenings of the finals, that's you.
Screenings. That was like we filled up Nasric. I'll tell you a funny story about the first one. So Temba, Buifelo, amazing guys, Tepiso, they used to work at SAP, then they moved to Heineken, and they were like, Sibs, we're taking you with us, come through. We have this thing, we need to fill it up with cool people, make a trend, you know, the make a trend thing. Okay, so the first event is at the venue in Sandton. The venue takes like 150 people. They said I must invite 250 in case there's a drop off. 250 people came.
Yeah.
And they're like, Sibu, what have you done? And I'm like, you guys said I must invite 250 people. 250 people came. My people come. My people like things. And that introduced me to the Heineken ecosystem. Now the marketing director is like, who's this girl? And then he's a guy who's in Amsterdam now. But he was just shocked at the fact that there are suppliers who are able to do what they say they will do, you know. Then the event agency, which is Sonic Stage, they were also just like, what the hell, who are you, blah, blah, blah. So from there, we established a really great inter-agency relationship between MNC Saatchi, which is the lead agency for Heineken, Sonic Stage, which is the event company, and then we make the amplification happen and we make noise about it. So Drogba coming through, we were part of that.
Wow. My favorite one was Nasric, man. That was amazing.
Yeah, so that Nasric one, where it was also just packed to the rafters. Again, they said, invite 4,000. I invited 4,000, 4,000 came. And I said, guys, stop doing this thing. Stop challenging me. Don't do that. Because me, I will come to the party, okay? And that actually, oh my gosh, that was happening the week before the Travis Scott concert. And on the Travis Scott project, I was a creative. So like, how do the performances happen, like all the South African acts, for example, and then writing the actual script of the show. So from minute 1 to minute last, so at 6 o'clock, what are we opening with? Okay, it's background music. And then the first act is performing with this kind of pyro, so the cue, the pyro cue. So we're writing the script of the show. And then also the dancers. So Jay did the choreography with the dancers. And then like all the artists, briefing them on what their performances will look like. So the graphic packs, all of that, like cool stuff, right? So I was part of that process. That was a cool one. The J. Cole concert was really, really cool. Fill up the dome. I think my favorite one. That was my favorite fill up. And then fill up F&B. Orlando was a lot of trickiness, but yeah. Super, super dope. One of my favorites actually was Music is King 1. Music is King. I was the marketing manager on the project. So we set up all the social media pages, did the out-of-home plan, did the TVC work with Channel O, did the PR with Melanie Ramji, Hypers, amazing. This was all under the leadership of Nell, who is marketing at Solistic. So she was like end client and Teresho and Universal. So together, we all, and the street team, setting up a pop-up shop in Brahm, all of those ideas and coordinating that. And then we sold out the gym.
Fuck me.
Before the show, like at 9 o'clock in the morning, I had artwork ready. I said to Mike at Web Tickets, he said, yeah, it's clean. You can announce. I said, I sold out a show. I sold out a show, my niggas. Do you know how happy I was? Because it's like all the sleepless nights, all the fights that we had in the boardrooms, it was all worth it. Because now it's like, yeah, here's my work. No. Afropunk was really cool. I got to work at the Afropunk in Brooklyn. I served Raphael Sadiq tea during his rehearsal. Wow. I set up the lounge's 3 dressing rooms and, you know, like shopping for her rider. yeah, there's a lot of stuff I've done, man.
I remember you were posting before Corona. You were posting something about you in the States. Was that for the what is that for, man?
My God. So Global Citizen was about to have a really massive event. Like, so Mandela 100 was huge. And then I'm sure they have an annual event at Central Park. But then this one was going to be 8 cities all at the same time having an event. So it was basically going to be like a 24-hour event because of time zones, obviously. It was going to be huge. I was going to be posted to Nigeria to go and work on that piece. And so they brought the whole team, like all the different teams from around the world. I think there were 100 of us who were different heads of department and like form part of the core teams. And it was a symposium on how we're going to run the event. So it was a plan. We were working towards a really brilliant event. It was like, you guys were going to eat me on social media. Plus, in Nigeria. Oh my God. It was going to be brilliant. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And hopefully it can happen next year. But that's why I was in New York, because that's where the head of the Global Citizen HQ is.
Speaking about Global Citizen, who told Naomi Campbell to say Amandala? Amandala.
I really love it. Okay. Yeah. So here's the truth about what happened. In the rehearsal room, she said Amanda. She said it properly. I promise you guys, the woman knows how to say it. But on stage, I think between the rehearsal room and the tunnel and getting on stage, Washayi system eranyana, because she wanted to say Amanda and Mandela, and then it came out at the same time.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny.
Mandela, Amanda, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, cool. All right, so now Corona hits. How has it impacted your business?
So, okay, Corona, I get back from New York on the 16th odd, and it's the week of an Amstel launch that we're doing for the new TVC. Somhale wedding, the final episode viewing, and then the DSTV Viewers' Choice Awards.
Wow.
That's the week I get back. I have to be at all of these events. I have to work. But people are like, yo, dude, you just came off of a plane from New York, which is a high-risk country. And I'm just like, man. That thing, what? Me? Never. And I risked it all. And so ignorantly, I look back now and I'm like, hey, yes, it could have been me that was a carrier, and I could have gone and infected half of South Africa. Because at all of these events were a lot of prominent people who interact with a lot of other people. But then that is what sparks the fact that, okay, this thing is about to be a serious reality, because even where I come from in New York, they're about to go into lockdown. What's going to happen in this country? They were like shutting things down, right? Okay, fine. That weekend happens. Then we have the online quarantine party on Saturday, which is, or like the following week. Yeah, the following week, we have the online quarantine party. Shimza, PH, Black Motion, Maporisa, Zintle, Dark. It blows up. Because now all of this like Corona talk, quarantine, people have started quarantining. And the next day, we go into a meeting at DSTV. Like, Saturday was the party, Sunday on the phone. Hey, I've got this property. Are you interested? What? This one's like, yes, we need a meeting now. Shut. Don't speak to the other guys. Me. Hey, other guys, what are you guys saying? I've got the other guys in Randburg. What are you saying there in Bryanston? They're like, no, okay, let's talk. We talk. Now I'm talking this side, I'm talking this side. And then putting together a presentation overnight. Like, because I'm not panicking. The reality has hit, but I'm like, okay, where's the opportunity? There's an opportunity here. So working the opportunity, we get client sign-off from channel. And then I hit up a brand and I say, yo, we're about to do this thing. Are you in? He's like, what? What are my white people going to say? I say, sell, man. Come on, get the food. Okay, fine. Speaks to his white people, then brand is on board. And then we start shooting. So Shimza and PH are like, we're going to start working, we're going to start shooting, whether they buy, whether they don't, at least we have a product. So we start shooting, we're getting DJs in, we're moving. No one is stopping to think. Instead, we're working. That's what we're doing. And I think that's the momentum that kept me going throughout lockdown, because how we started before we went into lockdown is what carried us through lockdown. Okay, now we've got a TV show that we've got to promote. Now I've got to figure out, okay, what else are we doing to, on the side, like as Duma Collective, how are we continuing work? Because all our alcohol brands obviously have stopped working. All our clients, they've stopped doing things. No one knows what to do because legislations have changed, Hana fish-based. But on the other hand, there's other brands who we work with who are like, okay, let's get active online. What ideas can you come up with? So it was just like continuous work, pitch, wait, pitch, wait, okay, execute. So there was a lot of work, like a lot. And I'm really privileged and really blessed to be able to say I didn't fire anyone, didn't have to retrench anyone, just changed the business model a little bit, but we kept it moving and kept working. Not for 1 second did I stop and say, oh my God, we're screwed. What are we going to do? Because I think had I done that, I would have wallowed in that. So the way we started is how we continued through lockdown.
No, I love that, man. I love that mentality. And I think that goes for a lot of people that, when you have a business, you have no choice but to think about, okay, cool, what can I do? You put in a corner and you have to start figuring shit out. But I remember I saw a tweet where you said you have like $50 in your account. Was that real? Was that true?
363 rand. 363. Let me tell you, I got a campaign out of it. But I really just wanted to say to people that as positive as I am, as like encouraging as I'm trying to be and keep hope alive, not everybody wants to hear that. Some people want to relate to the story of hardship, but in a way that'll motivate them to get out of it. I've had that kind of like minus balance in my account before, and I've gotten out of it. I just didn't talk about it back then. So me being able to put that out there was with the knowledge that I can't get out of it. So I'm not like, yo, I got 363 rand. If I fire people, don't be surprised, guys. Yeah. No. It's like sometimes it gets bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But most times it's really good. And even when it gets bad, you're able to get out of it. And I know this because I'm a living testimony of it. I've prayed through it and I work through it and then I get through it. So that's what that message was about. And it just opened up a conversation for a lot of people to be able to kind of share. Because I think social media is the group of friends that a lot of people don't have, even though it's people you don't know. There are some things you're able to say on social media that you wouldn't be able to tell your closest confidant. And that's because there's that familiarity, but also unfamiliarity that allows you to just say what you need to say. So in that, we created a community of people who are like, yo, shit is real. But because you're able to get out of it, who am I that I can't? I have the same 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 ears, and a nose. So if you can, so can I. And that's what I think that tweet did for people.
I love it, man. And then in terms of your competitors, are they shaking in their boots? Like, who's this young girl who's fucking shit up?
No. No, to be fair, like I'm so privileged to be able to work with a lot of people I look up to, like the bigger agencies. Joe Public, Olisa Deshana has reached out and like, yo, if you need any help, come through. Nduna, yo, Velingubane at Avatar and Zigusi, so amazing. And they've even given me work. So I've done a lot of work with them. VML, huge agency. VML is like, Mad Men, the show on Netflix.
Yes.
Y&R is one of the agencies that they were speaking about. Y&R, VML, it exists now. It existed then. Also, Gray existed then. It exists now. And like these are all these agencies that I'm able to have access to. MNC Sachi, Neo Mashigo, huge like inspiration, and he's so generous with his knowledge and like his time. So there's also something called the Creative Circle, which consists of like the MDs of the top agencies in the country. And I happen to be part of the Exco by invitation of Neo. Like this happened 2-3 months ago. So I have access to these people where I'm able to showcase who I am, because I think people fear what they don't know. And now they know. So they're like, okay, cool, this person's actually not here for our cheese. You know, the pie is big. I don't necessarily do exactly what they do. I just do things in a different way. There's the Roth Medias of the world, Cheria Sekasi, other agencies who are also Black and female owned. And I'm able to like draw on them for inspiration or draw on them for knowledge and mentorship. So never have I seen people as competition directly. Even when we're pitching for work, and we pitch against each other with like companies I collaborate with, when someone else gets it, I'll still congratulate and say, yo, look, if we can be a supplier to you in any way, let us know. If we can help amplify, if I can share a tweet, and you know, that makes your success even bigger. That's how I work, and I think that's why I haven't had too many people try to like dog us. There've been some shady people, you know, but yeah, we get through it by trying to work with as many people as we can work with.
And what are some of the difficulties that you went through, you know, especially as a Black female woman, to get into this industry? Or were there any difficulties at all? Because it sounds like it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Yeah. Smooth sailing. I think I take a lot of things on the chin and keep it moving, because I am a firm believer that the world doesn't owe you anything. So the boys club is the boys club. Like we can, and every feminist will want to kill me for this, but we can hold people to account and say, the reason the world is like this is because of you, so you have to change it. And I'm like, okay, whilst they're busy figuring out how to change it, if they want to change it, when they're going to change it, I'm going to keep doing my thing, right? Because I'm not going to wait for a man to create a seat at the table for me. Even though there have been many men who have helped get me to a table, I've kept myself there. Like, once I'm at the table, now you can't get rid of me. And then sometimes I've created my own tables where I've invited many other females to come and be at our table. And even in my agency, I have, out of 10 people, there's 8 females and 2 guys. And then like other freelancers who are guys as well. But I'll sooner go for a female because that's the table I've made this table, so I'm going to choose who I'm putting at it, right? And the challenges, I suppose, are having to find ways to communicate your ideas or why you are right, because the boys club thinks the way the boys club does. Men think in a certain way, women think in a certain way. On an event, for example, I want there to be 100 toilets because girls need toilets. We need to take our jeans off. They need to go down. We need to sit. It takes us 3 minutes, or it'll take us 5 minutes to do what a man will do in 30 seconds, because all you got to do is zip it down, whip it out, and pee, right? So it's now convincing a team of people that I'm working with why we need to spend an extra 100,000 rand on an extra 100 toilets, where they're just like, no, man. And it's also just the emotional intelligence. Our EQs are very different. I want to feed people all day for working hard. Like, the crew catering budget must be 5,000 a day. Where the boys are like, what the hell? Feed these people pop and put of us and they'll be fine. I say, no, man. These people left their houses to come and work here. In their houses, they could be eating A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But because they're here putting together your show, you want to feed them something you wouldn't even eat? No. So it's that kind of like tug of war when it comes to ideas and strategies. And I'm making really simple, basic examples. But it is, as a female, you think one way. As a male, you think one way. But also that yin and yang can create the most incredible combination to produce really great work, because 2 minds are better than one, and sometimes 2 different types of minds are better than one. So that's, like, I would say, the real challenges. Other than that, there are more women in industry now. There are more Black women in positions of power. So we're also at an advantage. And as women, it's up to us then to take advantage of that. And it's also up to us to give those opportunities to people like us. So I think the challenges thing, mine are very different to what other people have experienced. And I never want to water down what Black women go through in this industry. However, my personal experience, I'm just a bulldog. Just do what I need to do. I don't cry about it too much. And yeah, I just know that the world doesn't owe me anything.
I love that, man. I love that. And just in closing, what do you want to say to, a lot of entertainers, performers out there, a lot of people in the PR marketing space who might be struggling during this pandemic. What's your advice? What keeps you going, like you're saying, as you're a bullfighter?
It's a really painful time for a lot of people because everything you thought you knew is now being tested. And if you're not able to pass, or you're feeling like you can't pass that test, it really crumbles your world, because I think this industry is driven by passion. It's driven by a little bit of insanity. There's really no logic that dictates you go into a creative business. I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and says, yeah, this is the best thing for me to do. You're actually driven by an innate desire to want to serve people as a creative. The creative world is that of serving. And I'm so desperate for people to not give up, because you were there before COVID and you will still be there after COVID. Or being there after COVID is then up to you, okay? Because it's not just us that are suffering in this country. It's not just Africa. It's the whole world. So let's acknowledge that this is a common threat across the globe. But what is going to separate you from the next person is how you react to that threat. And if you're going to cower and let it defeat you, then the world has no choice but to just swallow you up. And it really is up to you. There's no one that can help you but yourself, really. We're all fighting battles. I can't help you unless I'm helping you help me. That's kind of how a lot of people are thinking. It's survival of the fittest. Yeah, but when they say survival of the fittest, you're survival of the fittest. And it's not just a saying anymore. It's not just let's see the women amongst the girls, or let's see the men amongst the boys. Hey, Yole is survival of the fittest. And if you believe you're the fittest, then do it. It's not enough to just talk it. It's not enough to just think it. You've actually got to get up and do things. And that's really all I can say to people. I don't have an Oprah quote. I really don't have something from the Dalai Lama. But the fact is, survival of the fittest, and you've got to do it. That's what it is.
Fuck, man. Sibu, I love your energy, man. And I can't believe you're only 26.
28, 26 plus 2.
Oh, 28. Okay, I know it. That makes me feel a lot better.
But no, that thing used to, when I was 24, boy, I was killing you. So yeah, 24. What? Oh, my clients were leaving their jobs to go start agencies because they're like, this little child can come running around. And I said, I'm only 24. Now that I'm 28, I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be doing these things. I'm supposed to be owning a house. I'm supposed to be driving a car. I'm supposed to have employees as a business person. I'm supposed to have an office. You know, this opening of an office thing. I was just like, what is happening? Why are people so excited that I have an office? And it's like, because I'm supposed to have an office. Where do people work from? Is Starbucks really a thing? Are people really, really like their offices at Starbucks? Yeah. And it actually is a thing. I'm starting to realize that some of these milestones that I take for granted because I'm living them every day actually do mean something to the next person who isn't naturally moving in the same way that I am. So yeah, 28 and I'm killing it.
Fantastic, man. Sibu, love you long time. All the best. And yeah, man, like you say, keep killing it. We love y'all. What is that?
Thank you.
Is that the... Oh, I thought it's the Illuminati or something.
I used to dance. Thank you so much. And thanks for Rock the Girls. That line
I don't know what you're 28. You're exposing your age. No, now it makes sense. That's why you're 28.
Thank you for these. Thank you for these sessions that you do. We're learning a lot. Like from the people that you choose to interview, the way you ask questions. Dude, you're so dope. You're so dope. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sibu.